Hi everyone, welcome back to my parlour, and today I'm here at my cemetery to do a past life reading for you. And I want to point out some aspects of my cemetery. I'll be going through a tour of it a little bit later, but I just wanted to do a reading with it today. So, here we have the crypts. I've got two crypts. They are for the family in my haunted house, which I will go through the story with you a bit later on. It's coming up, promise you. Sorry, I've got allergies today. It's hay fever season. So these are the crypts, the family crypts that house the bodies of the people in the haunted house. And I'll go through their history with you. The old gnarled tree. I'm so pleased with how it turned out. I'm just really happy with that one. So that's the old gnarled tree. Then you have the little headstones here, and you have the little skeleton trying to come out of his grave. I just thought that added a little bit of extra character to the cemetery. You have my new Adopt-A-Ghost. You saw me yesterday. He just hangs there. He's just quite happy to hang there. You have Eloise, the caretaker of the cemetery and the house that she lives in, and her little faithful dog. I'll go through the rest of it with you later with a tour. So I'm hoping you'll be happy with that. And a little spider web here. I didn't know what else to make the spider web out of, so I just made it out of an old doily. So in the old gnarled tree. So I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. So I'm going to be doing a past life story for you today for a friend of mine who requested a reading, number 305. That's the code that I'm giving here, number 305. And she'll know who that is. And I will do her reading for her. But first of all, I want to read a bit of a paragraph from this book that I tried to read but couldn't because I didn't like the main character. She just grated on my nerves. Anyway, that's another story. She grated on my nerves. But the story itself was a really good idea. I just wish that Cecilia Hearn wrote her character better and didn't make her so obnoxious. Because this is really good. So everyone has a story to tell. Kitty is just about to start. So Kitty, the main character, is given a list of 100 names from her friend Constance, who passed away from cancer. And Constance was a mentor and an employer in a publishing company that hired Kitty to be a journalist, and they became really good friends, and Constance was her mentor, as I said. But Kitty had problems. She was really not a very nice person. She sort of ended up reasonably okay in the end, but I just could not abide her at the beginning, so I just never really got into the story. But Constance passed away from cancer, and this was her last what she would have written had she been able to. So 100 names. So there's a list of 100 names. So I'm going to read you this little paragraph because it's really pinpoints what I really feel is pertinent in this story of why I really liked it. The story, that is, not the book. So Kitty says, "My job was not to uncover a secret or a lie or find something earth-shattering that 100 people were hiding from me. It was simply to listen to their truths. Constance's idea was this." She paused. "It's very simple. If you were to randomly select 100 people from a phone directory, you would not only find a story, you would find 100 stories, because everybody, every single person has a story to tell. Every single ordinary person has an extraordinary story. We might all think that we are unremarkable, that our lives are boring, just because we aren't doing groundbreaking things or making headlines or winning awards. But the truth is, we all do something that is fascinating, that is brave, that is something we should be proud of. Every day people do things that are not celebrated. That is what we should be writing about. The unsung heroes, the people that don't believe they are heroes at all because they are just doing what they believe they have to do in their lives. So everybody has a story to tell. This is what links us all. That is what links all the names on the list. Constance was simply getting back to basics. So, yeah, we all have a story to tell. That's why I'm here on YouTube. That's why a lot of people are here on YouTube. Some to make money, some just to tell their story. And that's what I'm here to do, to tell my story and to tell the story of others. So, that's why I chose to do a past life reading today for you. We all have a past life, or several past lives, I believe, and sometimes those past lives collide with our present life in ways that are to teach us a lesson or to give us some advice or just to... Sometimes we feel as though, why am I here? Why is this happening to me? What should I do about it? And we can go back into a past life that is relevant to this present moment. Perhaps we can find an answer. And oftentimes we do. So oftentimes in a past life reading, we'll come across something that happened that is very similar, that we learned something in that past life that we can learn now to alter the outcome of what's happening for us now. So that's why I do past life readings. I really like my past life readings. I think they're relevant to a lot of people, especially people who believe in past lives. Those who don't believe in past lives can be a bit sceptical, but I think if they had a reading, they would alter their idea about past lives. Because we often have moments when we think, oh, I have memories, and I think they don't belong to this current moment. Why am I having these memories? And oftentimes it's because it's a hint that a past life is affecting you now, and those memories come from that past life and is directing you to an answer that perhaps you are seeking to help you understand what's happening at this moment. So please bear with me. I do have allergies today. It is allergy season, so I'm going to have a drink. Excuse me, guys. To reaching over there like that. So let's have a look at this past life and see what we can come across, shall we? So first of all, I'm going to find out for number 305 who she was in a past life, what event in that past life is affecting her now, what happened about that event, was it resolved in that past life, can it be resolved now? These are my own cards that I had printed. So I've got who were you, what was important to you, so what was important to you and what happened, some ideas about what happened. Timing's a little bit tricky to bring forth, so I don't really try and set a time unless a time comes to me when I go through the cards. So let's find out who 305 was in a past life and what might have been important to them at that time. So who was 305 in a past life, please? I'm going to try and set the cards up so you can see them clearly. So I'm just going to look at the camera to find out where that might be. So who were you? Number 305. Whenever I go to the cemetery, I realise there are bones under the ground. Bones do not disintegrate as easily as people think. So there are always bones underneath the earth. And those bones often people who were alive once. They had a story to tell. I wonder what's happened to them now. I wonder where they are now, whether they've having a new life, or waiting to reincarnate. But there are always bones underneath the earth, and each bone belongs to someone. And that someone had a story, a past life story. Let's find out. 305s. Who were they? Who were you, 305? Who were you? Okay, 305. Oops. You were a woman. Now, I can't really tell whether this woman is sitting at her shop waiting for customers, or it's just a woman that's sitting by waiting for something, waiting for her story to be told. She's had a hard life. So you had a hard life. This is a woman that's worked hard all of her life. This is you. You're a solid citizen. You are just living your life as you are now, waiting for something to happen. So this is a woman who has patience. This is a woman who has stamina. This is a woman who's just doing what she does every single day, but it's a very important job. So why were you there? I'm trying to work out a place to put them. I have to work something out, don't I? So what's happening here? You were a woman. A lot of people come through in the early 1900s. A lot of people died in the early 1900s through famine, through disease, through war. So finding myself with souls that lived then, lived in really harsh times when they didn't know what was round the corner. They could not securely stabilise themselves in that lifetime because they didn't know what was going to be happening in a time of upheaval. So I think you belonged in a time of upheaval, number 305. Just getting on with your life day to day. So you weren't anyone extraordinary. You weren't famous. You weren't rich. Not all of us were rich. Not all of us were famous. So people come along and think, I might have been a rich or famous in a lifetime, but most of the time it's just an ordinary life. So you had an ordinary life. An ordinary life. Let's have a look at the energy around you at that time. Not to say that you were ordinary. I'm getting a very strong, very determined woman, but a woman waiting for something to happen, not because of the chaos around you at the time, but because you wanted something to happen in your life. Perhaps your husband was at war, fighting the war. Your sons were out fighting the war, and you're waiting for them to return. But you're missing something in your life. There's a hole in your soul that needs to be filled with something. At the time, you were waiting for that to be filled by bringing your children or your husband back home to make you whole. But I'm sensing at the moment you need to find your own filling. Does that make sense? You need to find something within yourself to fill that hole of something that is missing in your life. Whatever you sense is missing in your life, only you can fill it. And in your past life, it's coming back to tell you that. She's coming back to say, hey, look, something was missing from my life. My sons were out fighting a war. My husband was out fighting a war. I lost my sons. I lost my husband. I can't fill that hole again because they're gone. So she busied herself. She perhaps did have a shop. She had a little antique shop or a little cafe or something that was really important to her. But also she always gave to other people, trying to fill that gap with doing things for others. And this is what you did. You gave to others to fill that void. What are you doing now to do the same? Are you doing the same thing now? Are you losing sight of who you really are, of your strength, of your internal power? Are you giving it away, or are you just holding on to something that is no longer serving you because you think it fills that void, and if you let go of it, you'll have an even bigger hole in your soul? Is that going to be true? If you let go of something, does it automatically make your life less worthy? Does it make you less worthy of finding what it is that satisfies you, harmonizes with you? You were a very strong woman, though. You could do anything that you set your mind to. And adversity was almost like a friend of yours, because it took your mind off the problems of the day. So you were a great person in the community. You did a lot of community work. You did so much for other people because it made you stronger. It made you not think about your own problems, of where they were headed, of why you were in the situation that you were. I would have liked you, and I think you would have liked yourself a lot too, because you were friendly, you were open, your home was always available to friends and family that came through for you. You were a person that people confided in, so they told you their story, they told you their problems, and you took them on board, and you didn't often give advice, but you would sometimes help others. So let's have a look at your energy. We'll get into finding out what was really important to you. So we know who you were. You know the kind of woman you were. Let's find out your energy. The energy of your soul. Excuse me a moment too, I'm going to get your aura colour as well. I forgot to put that out here. So the energy around you at the moment. The Ace of Clubs. Always acting on something. So I'm getting a bit close. I'm trying to work out the perfect angle. The Ace of Clubs. Oh, there's so much potential in you that you could have done so much more with your life for yourself, because you're a woman of action. You just didn't sit around waiting for things to happen. You could have, and you probably did, but it wasn't necessary, because you were so full of energy, so full of potential, that I sometimes think you wasted your life at that time because of that hole in your soul, where you could have done so much more for yourself. you could have studied, you could have travelled, even though it was a time of upheaval. It could have stifled that idea too. But I'm thinking you had so much more potential here, and you didn't take it, you didn't use it to your full advantage, which is really sad, because you had so much potential. Let's have a look at your aura. I forgot to put those out. Let's have a look at your aura. I'm going to be using my aura cards because I just love these cards. Aura 305, please. We all have an aura. Some people can see auras. Some of us can't. But our basic soul colour will always be our basic soul colour. But it changes due to circumstances. It changes through emotional upheaval. It changes through whatever circumstances, physical, spiritual, mental, emotional, that happens to us in our lives. Some people expand their aura so wide that it can be felt eons away, and it's public property. Some of us can control our aura, and most of us can't. So whatever comes through with the aura, whatever information comes through with the aura, is public property virtually. So anyone can access that if they have the ability or the inclination to try that out. So let's have a look at your aura. Just trying to feel it. What belongs with the Ace of Clubs, that's for sure. I see all the potential there. It's the orange and the yellow of the solar plexus and the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra and the solar plexus. There's just so much potential there. It's like you turned on the engine, but you're in idle, or you were stalling. The engine was still running. Everything was still moving and doing things, but the potential wasn't utilised. I'm not judging you here, and no one would judge you for doing what you did because of the circumstances in your life. But the potential here is coming through now in your private life now, in your present life. What opportunities are you stalling on? What opportunities are you just passing by because the engine's running? You're using up petrol. You may as well use that petrol for a reason and do something with it, because it's a waste. It's a waste of your potential here at the moment, and it was a waste of your potential then. Not judging that. I'm not judging that. I'm just saying what I'm thinking here, what I'm sensing, because you just had so much potential, and it was sort of wasted because of your circumstances. And no one can control their circumstances all the time, but we can try and work with it. So let's find out what was important to you and see what else we can come up with. What was important to you at the time? You were a wife, you were a mother, a community worker, a beautiful soul, open, honest, reliable, people trusted you, you had an empathy, people just gravitated towards you. Their own lives were in chaos, and you seemed like a pillar, a stone. You're solid. It's like a stone pillar. You were other people's anchor, and it's in the same thing that you were going through. They were going through, but You diverted your energy to them rather than taking the potential that was within you to its full capacity. So what was important to you? Baby, commitment. Oh my goodness. Sadly, someone drowned, someone was murdered. Was it you? Your baby, your children were your livelihood. Well, not your livelihood. They were your life. Children were your life. Your children were your life. You were committed to your husband. You were committed to your relationship, your marriage. You were faithful to that marriage. Someone drowned. Was it you? I'm going to go through that in a minute. I'm getting the Titanic here. I don't know why. Or getting a warship. A warship coming through here. The Titanic was used as a warship. Not the Titanic. The Queen Mary was used as a warship. Maybe your husband or your son, your baby, your son, off to war, drowned on that warship. It was torpedoed or bombed, whatever happened to it. Not necessarily the Queen Mary. I'm just talking about warships. I'm just talking about ships coming through because of the drowning here. So whatever happened to your children, your son, your husband perhaps, was lost at sea. Another burden that added to your soul, that crushed your soul, because it was senseless. War is senseless. I abhor war of any form, violence of any form, but it's one of those things that commitment to king and country, queen and country, whoever it was, king of country, you make a commitment to that, just as much as you make a commitment to your family, to your husband. But someone died in your immediate circle. You also saw, I don't believe anyone was actually murdered within your place, but some people can consider war killing of another murder. It's sanctioned murder, virtually. Politically sanctioned murder. And I think you saw it as murder. You saw that your children had been murdered. Your husband had been murdered, even though it was in the confines and in the broader circle of war. Some people consider that murder still. So you were sitting on that as well. So no wonder you were stifled. No wonder your life just stalled because you'd lost everything. You saw no other way out than to just wait for better circumstances, wait for something to happen to you, not realising or not being able to understand or accept that it was within your power to make a change, within your power to take the circumstances, accept them, then move on with your life and to make a better opportunities for yourself. You were stalled because of all of this that had happened to you. So, of course, it's understandable why you lost sight of yourself, of why you decided, what else is there for me to do but to sit in my grief and console others who are also going through the same thing, because in a way, when you help someone else heal, it's also partly healing yourself. So that's what people do. People help each other to help themselves heal as well. So that's what you did. You took all of your energy, all of your internal grief, and you helped others, letting go of your potential. And there's nothing wrong with that, except that it stifled you. And I think at the moment, can you allow yourself the opportunity to do something for yourself, to bring yourself some consolation here, bring yourself some potential of what it is that you could be doing here. What are you missing out on because you think, I don't have a right, I'm not worthy? Yes, you are worthy. Yes, you do have a right to make things happen for yourself, to do something for yourself. And it's not letting go of anything that you need. It's not letting go of, in the past, in your past life, you were holding on because you felt as though if you start doing things, you start healing, you're going to forget and lessen the impact of the death of your children, or the death of your son, the death of your husband, because you made a commitment to them, and you feel as though if you let go and you felt happy again, you'd be lessening that love, that commitment. But you wouldn't have been. You would have just been growing and healing, and I think that's what comes through here at the moment. So don't be afraid to let go or let something pass. Let's have a look and see what else is coming through. You stalled. You've got the hangman here. You're stalling. You stalled in your life. You were a very wise woman, very intuitive. You understood. You could see things. You probably could see more things than you realised, and you could have been quite psychic too in many ways. I can see you sitting with a cup of tea, reading people's tea leaves. I can see that with this picture here, yes. So you're probably quite intuitive in many ways, and maybe people did come to you with tarot. You read tarot for them. You read their tea leaves. A lot of people in the past, in the early 1900s, did read tea leaves, and especially from the Victorian times, when Queen Victoria lost Albert, she became very interested in the spiritualism. So that spiritualism, it sort of flooded the community. Everyone became interested in spiritualism. So that perhaps could have been something that you did. But love, always there. It's always there and will always be there, no matter how much time goes by. That love will always be there. That connection will always be there. But I don't think you realise that. And you stalled. You made sacrifices in your life for others, but not for yourself, which is rather sad. So let's go and have a look at perhaps what could be coming through for you now. And then we'll round off the reading with this one. So what is your potential now? How can you learn from this now? You learn now, 305. Okay. creativity comes through with the solar plexus and the sacral. You're creating something. So it's time for you to create something. How does that relate to you in this lifetime? What are you creating? What do you want to create? Go out there and make it happen. Put it on pen. Put it with you to pen and paper and write down all the goals that you want to achieve. Then take one step at a time to create them. Make one step each day to create something brand new for yourself, something that you really want to bring into your life. Not missing those opportunities, seeking whatever opportunity comes your way and open the door to it. Create something brand new for yourself. Take a chance. Turn your life up the right way up, and to take a chance on something. Even if it's calculated risk. Calculated risks are better than plain risks. You don't have to jump off the deep end. You can make a calculated risk. But still a risk. But one that you know that you're not putting in more than you can afford to lose. You know what I mean? So take those risks that you know that you can afford to take. And you never know where it might lead you. Lead you to awareness. It leads you to opening up your mind to possibilities, being aware of what it is that is available to you and where you want your life to be headed. Even if you have a little hole in your soul, being aware of that and how to fix it in a creative way, taking a risk perhaps, but fixing that hole, healing that hole, and opening yourself up. You don't have to forget. You don't have to forgive even sometimes. But you need to be aware of what it is and why. Does that make sense? And then you'll be able to move on with your life and be the person that you were born to be. So the next time someone does a past life reading for you in the next lifetime, perhaps you would have healed and then bring yourself into almost to the time when everything is, all that karma has been played out and solidified, and you have whatever job the next job your soul has will be the ultimate one. You have another few lifetimes left yet, a few more before whatever souls do when they've completed their journey, which I haven't found out yet. This is not your last lifetime on earth. You've got several more to make the most of, and this is like giving you the opportunity now to take yourself to your full potential and to make the next lifetime the one that solidifies everything for you on your journey of your soul's journey. So thank you very much, and I hope that was really helpful for you, and until next time, so many blessings.